Part 152. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1512. Jessica and Sue Kioxin were busy until about 10 o'clock in the evening. They finally sorted out all the orders. Both parties signed the contract. Jessica put the contract into a folder and then put the folder into her bag. All work is completed for both parties. Zhang Chen called Xiao Wu, and the four of them went to the Erga food stall in Longxiang Bridge for supper. Jessica was very interested in this place, and she also went to the market with Sue Kioxin to buy seafood. Jessica and Sue Kioxin said that their Minneapolis city is an inland city in the United States, and it is rare to eat fresh seafood. If she wants to eat seafood, she will go to New York, San Francisco, or Baltimore, but the seafood seems not as delicious as here. Zhang Chen and Sue Kioxin Xiao said, "Of course not. I have eaten seafood several times in New York. I think Americans are a waste of resources. They cook all the seafood. How can it be delicious?" After finishing their late-night snack, the four of them walked to Renhe Road. At this time of night, there were not many people around the West Lake, but there were many people coming to eat seafood. When they came, the car drove to the intersection of Renhe Road near the West Lake and found a parking lot the place. The four of them returned to the car. Zhang Chen and Sue Kioxin said to Xiao, "You go back. It's a little way. I'll send Jessica there." Sue Kioxin and Xiao Wu got in the car and left. Jessica got into Zhang Chen's car. Zhang Chen started the car and drove forward to Hubin Road. He wanted to turn from Hubin Road to Pinghai Road and send Jessica back. The car drove to the junction of Hubin Road and Pinghai Road. Jessica patted Zhang Chen's arm to signal him not to turn right into Pinghai Road, and then made a half circle with her hand toward the West Lake on the left. Zhang Chen understood that she wanted to go around the West Lake, and Zhang Chen agreed. Zhang Chen drove forward, turned left at Baishan Street, passed Wanghu Tower, drove to the intersection of Baishan Street, Xian Road, and Beatty, turned left onto Beatty, crossed the broken bridge and drove forward. At the door of Pinghu Kaiyu, Jessica motioned to Zhang Chen to stop. Zhang Chen stopped the car and the two of them got out of the car. Jessica took a deep breath. Zhang Chen thought she was going to scream next, but she didn't. Late at night, there is no one around the West Lake. From the depths of darkness, here and there will be screams or shouts. It is people like them who are still wandering around the lake, waking up the silence of the West Lake and giving it to the lake. The West Lake in the middle of the night brings a bit of vitality and mystery. You can't help but wonder who these people are, just like yourself, still enjoying the wind by the West Lake. In Hangzhou in November, the air is crisp and a bit cold, but not to the point of freezing your bones. Such a cold wind blowing on your face will actually give people a refreshing and comfortable feeling like just getting out of the bath. The two of them walked naturally towards the back road of Gushan on the opposite side. Along the lakeside path of Bila Lake, they can go all the way to Chiujin's tomb. They then go back to Gushan Road and pass by Xiling Seal Society, Luwelu and Provincial Museum. Walking back here will just take you around the entire Gushan. Jessica was walking on the left side of Zhang Chen. She stretched out her hand and took Zhang Chen's arm. Zhang Chen was a little surprised, but immediately realized that he was actually looking forward to it. Zhang Chen tightened his arm and clamped her arm. Jessica leaned over, and through the windbreaker, Zhang Chen could feel the warmth of her body. Coupled with the rich scent of European and American perfume on her body, everything had a sweet smell. Here, in the cold early winter, there is a danger and temptation brewing that people can't help but fall into. Neither of the two people spoke. At this time, it seemed that there was no need to speak. They walked forward silently. The wind blew through a large area of residual lotus in Bila Lake, making a rustling sound, as if countless people were communicating. Their heads were whispering, and even their steps seemed to be drifting a little in this rustling whisper. Zhang Chen secretly twitched his nostrils. Jessica's breath was all-pervasive, seeming to pull them out of this late night and bring them into a gentle land. This kind of breath was pink. If it matched with her golden hair and fair skin, together, Zhang Chen felt that this color configuration was perfect, harmonious, and pleasing to the eye. It's a bit like Matisse's floral paper-cut paintings, which make you want to dance when you look at them. Zhang Chen had never had such an experience, such a close contact with a person of the opposite sex from a foreign land. This experience was enough to satisfy a man's vanity, desire, and reverie. Zhang Chen thought of the beautiful silhouette when he first saw Jessica in the car, looking out the window. That silhouette reminded him of countless famous paintings. The beautiful silhouette looking out the window seemed to it is an enduring theme of male painters. At that moment, Zhang Chen felt that the silhouette was very far away, so far away that there was a hint of mystery and indifference. But now, this silhouette is leaning against him, and he can even feel the temperature of the silhouette. It is so real that it is impossible to refuse. Zhang Chen turned his head and looked at Jessica. Jessica smiled at him. Even in the dark, her face was so bright. The two people walked to the corner in front, stopped naturally, and stood face to face. They looked at each other, and the hot breath they exhaled had blended together, making each other feel the warmth of the other. Jessica stood there, looking at Zhang Chen. Her eyes and her smile made Zhang Chen feel a little strange. This is not the Jessica who is so certain about everything. There is cat-like alertness and expectation in her eyes, and she seems to be ready to fall down docilely at any time, or to step aside in fright at any time. This is not the uneasy Jessica. Her eyes are uncertain yet certain, flashing with swaying uneasiness and expectation in the dark night. Behind her are the dark Baisi mountain and the dimly lit Baishan street. Even closer, are the sparse shadows of residual lotuses and the sparkling Bila lake. Gu Cheng's poem suddenly popped up in Zhang Chen's mind. When you look at me, I'm far away. When you look at the clouds, they're very close. Zhang Chen felt that when he looked at Jessica at this moment, he seemed a little far away, but when he looked at it, Bila Lake and Gemstone Mountain are behind you, but they are very close. For a moment, Zhang Chen began to fall into a trance. He felt that all of this seemed impossible. It was very possible that it was all his imagination and an illusion. He stretched out his hands and held Jessica's face. Jessica's face was also warm. Zhang Chen firmly believed that all this was true. He breathed a sigh of relief. Zhang Chen's hand touched Jessica's smooth back, and he was suddenly shocked. He was stunned as if he had been shocked by electricity, and then he woke up. He broke away from the position where the two people were intertwined like branches, and said softly, "Sorry." Jessica's hand trembled, then she understood, and her hand slipped away. The two stood there again, looking at each other, and Zhang Chen said again, "Sorry." Jessica shook her head. The two people continued to move forward. At this time, it was not Jessica holding Zhang Chen's arm, but Zhang Chen holding Jessica's hand. Zhang Chen's head was dizzy. He didn't know what was happening. He wanted to pull Jessica closer to him again, start over with chocolate, and then continue and finish it. But when he thought about it, his heart trembled. One voice said no, 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 and another voice asked why it couldn't be done. This voice still said no, no. Wow, a sound startled both of them, but it was not coming from someone out of nowhere, but the sharp cry of a bird on the lonely mountain, followed by the rustling of leaves, and the bird flew over their heads and flew towards Gemstone Mountain. Both of them laughed out loud because of their fright just now. With this smile, both of them seemed to have calmed down a bit. The page just turned over, and Jessica held Zhang Chen's hand and shook it for a while. Next, the two of them continued to walk forward. Zhang Chen didn't care whether Jessica understood or not. He talked to her about Lin Hejing and Fang He Pavilion, Qiujin, Xiling Yinshi, and Wu Changshuo. Talking about Gai Jingtian and Yuan, there are too many stories to tell about this lonely mountain. Zhang Chen kept talking. He was worried that as long as he stopped talking, the idea of pulling Jessica closer to him and starting with chocolate would resurface, and he had to keep talking. Jessica didn't understand anything, but she listened silently and walked silently, holding Zhang Chen's hand. She could feel the conflict of this man. After calming down, she already felt that Zhang Chen was sorry just now. That's right, she must be sorry too. Their relationship is client to client, and there are certain boundaries that cannot be crossed and are not in line with professional ethics, unless they want to mess up their relationship. Jessica listened silently. She thought this Oriental man's voice sounded very nice. They walked back to the parking place and got in the car. Zhang Chen drove the car to Pinghai Road in front of the Marco Polo Hotel and pulled over. Jessica got out of the car and stood beside the car without leaving. Zhang Chen got out of the car after hesitating for a while. The two hugged next to the car, but this time they did not kiss. Jessica kissed Zhang Chen's cheek. I whispered thank you to him, turned around and walked towards the hotel. Zhang Chen watched her off and watched her walk up the steps to the hotel door. When the light at the door slid down from her blonde hair, Zhang Chen suddenly felt that he regretted it. He had the urge to start with chocolate, but he stood there, was no movement there. He watched Jessica walk through the lobby and disappear into the elevator. Zhang Chen got in the car, started it, and drove forward for about 100 meters. He pulled over and stopped again. He rubbed his face with both hands, and then sat there blankly, feeling empty in his heart, but he felt, he was right to break away just now. He cannot and does not like to make some relationships complicated, such as with customers or subordinates. Zhang Chen suddenly understood why he had been avoiding Huihuan since returning from Sanya. The next day, when Zhang Chen woke up, Jessica, Su Qiaxin and Xiao were already on their way to Ningbo. Damn Jessica, Zhang Chen cursed and then left. Thank you for the reward at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, 2 fishes, one above and one below, baby tin soldiers, flipping through books every day, and ranking third from top to bottom. Thank you to Lao Shenza Sang, Tenjiun Tiangxia, Purple Hay, Book Friends 201906211331102536, Form Elo Blue, Why Can't I Change My Name, and Galaxy's Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1513. In the evening, Su Qiaxin called Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen asked her, "How are you doing there?" "Boss, I have to take a few days off," Su Qiaxin said. "This foreign trade company is still hesitating. I want to help this damn Jessica do their ideological work. If it doesn't work, I won't care. I will pry off their wall. Talk directly to their factory. Don't mess around," Zhang Chen said. "I'm not messing around. I've already told Jessica and she agrees. She said that if it doesn't work, just place all the orders directly with us," Su Qiaxin said. "Then there needs to be someone who is willing to take this order and be willing to produce it. Not everyone is Shentu Hanjian. I know, so I have to do ideological work for them," Su Qiaxin said. "I have figured out a truth." "What's the reason?" Zhang Chen asked. "Our factories alone can't do it. If more than half of the factories or foreign trade companies accept this condition that kills Jessica, then Target can be saved. The more factories and companies join, the better we will be safe," Su Qiaxin said. "Now, saving Target means saving ourselves." Zhang Chen nodded. "Yes, Su Qiaxin, it is indeed such a truth. It is difficult for you to understand it." Su Qiaxin giggled and said, "Is the boss allowed to take leave?" "Of course," Zhang Chen said. "Where is Xiao Wu?" Su Qiaxin asked. "Of course he will protect you. If he leaves you and escapes, I will scold him," Zhang Chen said. "Good." Su Qiaxin then shouted out of the phone, "Damn it, Xiao Wu, don't even think about it. The boss ordered you to stay with us. It's really troublesome. Zhang Chen laughed when he heard Xiao Wu scolding on the phone. After putting down the phone, Zhang Chen decided to go to the Xiaosha factory. He hadn't felt the busy scene in the workshop for a long time. He hadn't even been to the Xiaosha factory for a long time. He said that there was nothing going on in the factory, and there was Zhao Zhigang. Now, in fact, he felt guilty. None of the workers in the factory had any work to do. They were wandering around the factory area. Zhang Chen felt that he would feel a little embarrassed when he saw them. Zhang Chen stood up and was about to go out. Tan Shahen walked in from the door. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, "Why are you here? If I pass by you, I will come up to try my luck to see if you are there." "I want to have a meal," Tan Shahen said. Forgive me, I don't want to eat Japanese food anymore," Zhang Chen said quickly. "You can eat anything, as long as we eat together. I don't want to go home," Tan Shahen said with a gloomy expression. Zhang Chen asked, "Tan Shahen, what's wrong with you? Did something happen to you?" Tan Shahen shook her head. "It's nothing. I just want to have dinner with you, can't I?" Zhang Chen said yes, and then thought, "Are you thinking about the Pole?" "Go away, who would miss him?" Tan Shahen cursed. After cursing, her eyes dimmed and she said, "However, I don't seem to be used to it without this guy hanging around in front of me all day, and I don't know. How is this guy doing now?" Zhang Chen understood something about it, and asked, "Do you feel like you're missing a backbone?" Tan Shahen sighed, nodded, sighed again, and said, "It turned out that when I saw this guy, he looked nonchalant about everything, and I didn't feel so panicked. Now, when something happens, I feel like there is one less person to discuss it. Lao Tan is busy with projects now, and almost everyone in the company is looking at it. Not enough people. Am I the one who supports you?" Zhang Chen said with a smile. "Yes, is that okay?" Tan Shahen asked. Zhang Chen picked up the car keys on the table and told Tan Shahen that it was okay. "You can go with me to the factory first to feel the bustling production scene, and then we will go to dinner. You have nothing to do now anyway." Tan Shahen said yes. When they got to the car, Tan Shahen said to Zhang Chen, "Zhang Chen, I don't have any confidence in my heart right now." "What's wrong?" Zhang Chen asked. "The end of the year is coming soon, and our sales this year are very poor. It is estimated that we can only achieve 60% of the sales target at most," Tan Shahen said. "In this way, the annual report will be ugly. This has just become normal, and I am worried that what should I do if the stock plummets again as soon as the annual report comes out?" Zhang Chen understood that this was Tan Shahen's biggest worry, and it was also the reason why she felt that there was one less person to discuss with, and she was being pushed to the back. Indeed, when the new official took office, he couldn't start the fire, and even handed over a failing job. No one can bear this pressure. "How is the overall sales situation now?" Zhang Chen asked. "It's growing, but it's not very big," Tan Shahen said. "Is it obvious?" "Compared with September and October, November is still very obvious," Tan Shahen replied. "Then it's okay," Zhang Chen said, "as long as this trend can be maintained in December, it will be fine. In such a big environment this year, you are definitely not the only one who is in a bad situation. I think you can write a letter to all shareholders when the time comes. In the letter, don't hide anything, be sincere and tell them all the difficulties you encountered this year. Then tell them that the most difficult period is over now, sales have begun to grow in November and December, and the situation will definitely be better next year. Turn their attention to growth, and instead of focusing on completing or failing to complete the sales task, as long as you give them confidence, the things you worry about will not happen." Tan Shahen said, "Yes, I will do as you say." As the two of them talked, Tan Shahen felt that her mood gradually became brighter. She said, "Zhang Chen, what should I do if I want to eat Japanese food again?" "No cheating," Zhang Chen shouted quickly. Su Qiaxin stayed with Jessica in Ningbo for 2 days, and finally managed to talk through the foreign trade company, but talking through the foreign trade company was not enough. The foreign trade company, like their company, did not know how to produce its own products, so they still had to talk. Factory. Fortunately, Su Qiaxin was prepared when he went there. He showed the orders they signed with the factories below to show to those factories. People have a herd mentality. They felt that there were so many people from Hangzhou, Yuwu, Yongkang, and Pujiang. I'm not afraid at all. I have nothing to be afraid of. Several factories have agreed, while a few have not. But Su Qiaxin looked at those products and found that Shentu Hongjian's factories could actually produce them. Jessica wanted to take back these products and ask Su Qiaxin to send them to Shentu Hongjian and the others for production. Su Qiaxin called Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen said that for the sake of the overall situation, it was better not to offend the foreign trade company in Ningbo. Jessica, a foreigner, did not know how we Chinese people think. There are many things that others cannot do on their own. If you do it, he will be jealous again and want to tear it apart. What should we do? Su Qiaxin asked. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, we can introduce Shentu Hongjian and the others to the foreign trade company in Ningbo. They are all orders from Target. They should be able to take them. Su Qiaxin agreed and called Shentu Hongjian, so the 7 old ladies went to Ningbo again. The foreign trade company in Ningbo felt that this was like a pie falling from the sky, so they quickly signed the contract. Sign out with Shentu Hongjian and the others. The matter in Ningbo is finally settled. Then Su Qiaxin accompanied Jessica to Taizhou. The foreign trade company in Taizhou refused to agree to anything. Su Qiaxin got angry and said, Grandma, from today on, you will not accept any orders from Target. She frightened the other party into confusion, thinking, aren't you from a foreign trade company in Hangzhou? How could you become like a person from Target company? But Jessica really listened to Su Qiaxin's words and called back to the United States to let her know. They directly removed the foreign trade company in Taizhou from their supplier list. Su Qiaxin called Shentu Hongjian and asked her to help introduce factories near Yuwu that could produce these products. There really was nothing in the world that Yuwu people could not produce. Shentu Hongjian really found out about it through friends and friends of friends. These factories were found and brought to Hangzhou. Zhang Chen and Shentu Hongjian induced them and finally arranged all the orders. Foreign trade factories are now having a hard time, with almost no orders. Banks are now carrying out layer-by-layer tasks and strongly supporting foreign trade factories. In addition, Target is a big customer. Anyone who does foreign trade doesn't want to fawn over, but usually it's hard to do so. Now that we have this opportunity, although the conditions are a bit harsh, everyone is still ready to take action. Shentu Hongjian told them, I don't know anything else, but if I were a Target company and someone helped me in this difficult time, I would definitely do business with him for the rest of my life. This sentence speaks to the hearts of these factory owners. In addition, Shentu Hongjian is well known in Yuwu. Everyone is looking at her because she has grown from more than 200 workers to 8 people when making orders for Target. More than 100. Looking at Zhang Chen's company, they are so strong that all these factories agreed. Jessica and the others heard that it was done here, so they walked back from Jinjiang in Fujian. They were in Jinjiang, Quanzhou, and Wenzhou. The journey was quite smooth. In this way, Jessica traveled to China for more than 20 days. Finally, there was a satisfactory result. Back in Hangzhou, Su Qiaxin's first words when she saw Zhang Chen were, Grandma, I think I can run a supermarket. From making faucets and bathtubs to flush toilets, shoes, toothpicks, and razors to glasses and lighters, all factories have gone. Zhang Chen smiled and said, then let's open a supermarket. No, 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 I feel like vomiting when I hear the word supermarket. I didn't expect that opening a supermarket is so troublesome and requires so many things. I don't know how this damn Jessica managed it, Su Kioxin shouted. Zhang Chen and Su Kioxin went to see Jessica off at Shanghai Pudong Airport together. When it was time to say goodbye, Jessica hugged Zhang Chen and Su Kioxin and started crying, making them both very sad. Thank you for the tip that I didn't even know anyone asked. Thank you book friend 202009111601099750 for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the reading and votes. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1514. It's better than said. The year 2008 has reached the end of the year and will be over soon. In this year, no matter it is the world, the country, or themselves, so many things have happened, so that Zhang Chen feels that the year 2008, it's really too long. The Christmas holiday in the United States lasts from December 22 to January 5 of the next year. Taking advantage of this period, Xiaofang brought Zhang Xiangbei back. Zhang Xiangbei's holiday was longer than Xiaofang's. Put it to the end of January. When they came back this time, Xiaofang specifically told Zhang Chen on the phone that he didn't have to go to Shanghai Pudong Airport to pick them up. She and Zhang Xiangbei had already decided that after they got off the plane at Pudong Airport, they would take the maglev train there. Longyang Road, then go to the South Railway Station, take the train back to Hangzhou, and just ask Zhang Chen to pick them up at the Hangcheng Railway Station. On the day of the 24th, Zhang Chen only told his mother and Xiao Zhao's mother that Xiaofang and Zhang Xiangbei were coming back today, but he didn't tell them how they came back. Otherwise, even if Zhang Chen didn't take them with him, the two of them went to Chengzhan Railway Station, his mother and Xia Zhao's mother. They would definitely run to Chengzhan Railway Station early in the morning to wait. Xiaofang and Zhang Xiangbei arrived in Hangzhou at 3:20 in the afternoon. At 2:50, Zhang Chen calculated that it was almost time, so he and Xiao Wu went to the Chengzhan Railway Station. They waited at the exit for more than 10 minutes. I saw Zhang Xiangbei carrying a backpack and pushing a medium-sized suitcase in his hand. Xiaofang came out with nothing but a backpack. At first glance, despite talking on the phone every now and then, Xiaofang was still a little shy in front of Zhang Chen. After Zhang Xiangbei called him daddy, he stretched out his fist and bumped it with Xiao. Zhang Xiangbei was already taller than Zhang Chen, almost 1.8 meters tall. Xiao Wu had an arm wrestling match with him and found that it was good, and his strength also increased with his height. Zhang Chen looked at Xiaofang and smiled, "You two have traveled thousands of miles to come back from the United States. Isn't your outfit too simple?" Xiaofang said, "If you take things too seriously, you will regard returning home as a big deal. If you are too tired on the road, you will not even have the desire to go out." We originally wanted to omit the suitcase. The four of them walked to the parking lot and got in the car. Zhang Xiangbei and Zhang Chen said, "Dad, I can already drive. And Xiaofang taught me." Zhang Chen was startled and said, "You are driving in New York without a license." Zhang Xiangbei and Xiaofang both laughed, and Xiaofang said, "Brother-in-law, you think that in China, you have to go to a driving school to learn to drive. In the United States, you basically learn from relatives and friends. It is normal to learn to drive on the street. You can take the test after studying for a few hours. By after November, he will be 16 years old, and we have already made an appointment at the DMV, the Vehicle Administration Bureau, to apply, and when he returns after Christmas, he can take the test." Xiao Wu was also surprised. He asked, "You can take the exam after studying for a few hours. What is the exam?" "Turn left, turn right, merge, park on the side of the road and back up. Xiao Fang said, one big mistake will kill you, but a small mistake can make 15. It's very simple. Bai Bei will definitely pass. Don't you need to take the test of reversing into the warehouse? Zhang Chen asked. I've never heard of it, Xiao Fang said. It's just the things you actually use when driving. As for when you drive home, you can't get into the garage, or you reverse and knock down your own house. That's your business, the DMV doesn't care. What if I fail the exam? Xiao Wu asked. Just make an appointment and apply once more. No matter how stupid you are, you can pass the test 3 times, Xiao Fang said. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu both laughed. Zhang Chen said, this American is too sloppy and careless. How good is this American driver's license? American cars are almost the same as our bicycles. How great is it to learn to ride a bicycle? Xiao Fang said. Zhang Chen nodded and said, that's true. While they were talking, they arrived at splendid home. Xiao Fang asked, brother-in-law, haven't brother Ganzi and brother Mengping been found yet? Zhang Chen shook his head and said no. Xiao Fang sighed. Zhang Chen asked, why are you sighing? Every time I come back, I feel like there are fewer and fewer people eating together, Xiao Fang said. Zhang Chen was silent, knowing that she was talking about He Hongmei, who left first, and now Zanzi and Mengping were gone again. Aren't there fewer and fewer people? Even Zhang Chen himself often feels this way. Sometimes I feel that there are no people who can even get up in the middle of the night to drink yellow wine. After all, it is inconvenient for Li Yong. Even if he drinks, he has more time to date Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen will not date him. Xiao Wu drove the car into the gate of the community. From a distance, Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang saw Xiao Fang's mother standing in the parking lot waiting. When they saw their car coming in, they waved desperately. Xiao Wu drove to Xiao Fang's mother's door. Next to them, Xiao Fang and Zhang Xiangbei had already pressed down the car windows, stretched out their heads, and one called Mom and the other Grandma. Xiao Fang's mother told them that they had been waiting here since 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was cooking in the kitchen, so she and Zhang Chen's mother could only take turns. While one was waiting here, the other was in the kitchen. Looking at the kitchen, I didn't expect that she was so lucky. She just came over to change Zhang Chen's mother. In less than 10 minutes, you guys arrived. Zhang Chen listened and thought, if he had known this, he might as well have told them what time they would arrive, or taken them to the train station to pick them up, so as to save them from standing in the cold wind. He still didn't understand their mood. The group of people walked home, but before they reached the door, Xiao Zhao's mother shouted loudly. Zhang Chen's mother and 2 land reclamation warriors ran out quickly, and everyone started hugging and making out outside the door. Xiao Fang patted Zhang Xiangbei on the shoulder and said to him, let's go talk to your mother. Zhang Xiangbei said yes. They gave their suitcases and bags to Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu, and the 2 of them turned around and headed to Zhang Chen's house. When the 2 of them saw Xiao Zhao come back, Zhang Xiangbei went to the workshed in the backyard and found his bicycle. While he was away, Lao Zhang moved his bicycle to the workshed and covered it with plastic sheeting. Zhang Chen's mother saw him moving the bicycle out and asked suspiciously, Bai Bei, we just got home, where are you going? Xiao Fang smiled and said, follow him, he is going to pick up Xiangnan. Zhang Xiangbei chuckled. Zhang Chen's mother woke up, waved to him and said, go quickly, your sister is about to finish school. Zhang Xiangbei left, and Lao Zhang sat there and kept laughing. Zhang Chen asked, what are you happy about? Lao Zhang said, Xiao Fang, what kind of fertilizer did you put on Bai Bei? Why did he become taller and stronger than me in half a year? Everyone laughed, and Zhang Chen's mother said that he was taller and stronger than his father. After a while, Xiaoshu and Yao Fen arrived, and after a while, Tan Shahen arrived. As soon as Tan Shahen arrived, she clasped her hands and bowed to Xiao Fang. Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang knew that Tan Shahen was thanking her for pulling up the Jinxia Group stock. There is also the matter of the extraordinary general meeting of shareholders coming to the rescue. Xiao Fang was a little embarrassed. She said, "Sister Shahen, didn't my brother-in-law say that it's all his own family's business?" Tan Shahen smiled and said, "I am worshipping the god of wealth, and I am also worshipping you, a little rich woman." Xiao Fang, Xiao, Yao Fen, and Zhang Chen laughed. Others had no idea what they were talking about, let alone that there were many stories in it. The sound of 2 strings of bicycle bells ding 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 sounded outside the door, and they came back from south to north. Zhang Chen looked at them, already very affectionate, and knew that they had passed the rawness when they first met. And sorry. When Xiaoshu saw Zhang Xiangbei, he put his hands on his hips and said unconvinced, "How can it be that I need to look up to you?" Zhang Xiangbei shook his head and smiled proudly. Then Lao Tan, Chu Tianlin, and Han Emperor Lu Bang arrived, carrying cakes and milk tea made by Wang Minsheng. When Xiao Fang saw them, she rushed over and said she missed me so much. Brother Minzhen's milk tea and cakes. The last ones to arrive were Lin Shuwen and Old Tang. There were so many people tonight that there was no room for one table, so a table was set up in the living room. In the workshed behind, 2 land reclamation warriors moved the fitter table and their skyscraper model aside, and set up a table in the vacant space. Zhang Chen saw so many people arriving, and thinking about what Xiao Fang said before, he felt a little relieved. It seemed that there were still a lot of people eating together. Everyone who comes here is surprised that Xiangbei has grown so much after not seeing him for half a year. Lao Zhang remembered, he called Xiaoshu and Zhang Xiangbei and said, "Come on, come over." 2 people followed him to the workshed at the back, and the others followed. Lao Zhang found the measurements that he had measured for them during the summer vacation and painted them on the wall with the date and name written on them. He still followed the original method and asked the 2 of them to take off their shoes and stand there while he gestured with a triangle ruler. As a result, Zhang Xiangbei grew 3.5 centimeters taller, and strangely the tree was 0.5 centimeters shorter, which puzzled everyone. Old Tang said that it was due to thermal expansion and contraction. Everyone laughed. Come on, everyone, sit down, get ready for dinner." Zhang Chen's mother greeted everyone to sit down. There was a table for men and a table for women. The food was served and the wine was filled. Lao Tan raised his glass and said, "Let's toast Xiao Fang and Bai Bei first to celebrate their safe return." Those who could drink drank it all in one gulp, and those who could not drink touched the wine with their lips. For the second cup, Lao Tan raised it and asked, "How do you describe this cup?" Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen said almost in unison, "I wish 2008 will pass as soon as possible." After saying that, the 2 people looked at each other and laughed. The others also laughed. Old Tang said, "How much hatred does this 2008 have against you, and you don't want to see it so much?" Lin Shuwen was under the table and kicked him. Those who could drink drank it all in one gulp, and those who couldn't drank touched the wine with their lips. For the third cup, Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, raised his wine and said, "With this cup, I wish you all good luck and all the best in 2009. I also wish Xiangnan to be admitted to the Beijing Film Academy. From now on, we will go to the cinema to watch Heading South." Xiangnan quickly stood up and said, "Thank you, Uncle Lu." Old Tang shouted, "No problem, the emperor has spoken, and Xiangnan's wishes will definitely come true." Everyone raised their glasses. "Thank you Xian, Lao Zi, Book Friends 201707241126511879, Reader 11963189776326411024, Forgot Your Password and Come Again, Fantasy in the Wind, The Old Cat Who Doesn't Drink, Salted Fish Sewer, Book Friends 201901042017583118, Look at the Landscape, Tamagotchi, Book Friends 201701191722579990 for your monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1515. After taking a bath, neither Zhang Chen nor Xiaofang felt sleepy. They sat on the sofa in the living room. Xiaofang asked, "How is Target doing now?" Zhang Chen told Xiaofang what they did and what Su Qiaxin accompanied Jessica to do. Xiaofang nodded and said, "I have been paying attention to you since you called me last time. Fortunately, Target, their situation didn't get any worse. If, as my brother-in-law said, the supply of goods can be guaranteed, Target will still be saved," Xiaofang said, "and I have observed that although the scope of this crisis is wide enough and the impact is large enough, I don't think it is as big as the media said that it has evolved into an economic crisis, but it is still at the level of a financial crisis and has not reached the level of an economic crisis. Various data show that it has not yet happened." "Is there any difference?" Zhang Chen asked. "There is a big difference," Xiaofang said. "Fundamentally speaking, the two origins are different. Although they look similar on the surface, economic crises generally start from the bottom up. That is to say, the roots are rotten and overall there are problems with the economic foundation: inflation, currency devaluation, massive unemployment, money in the hands of ordinary people is like paper, and everyone's confidence has completely collapsed. At this time, the government feels helpless. Whatever it does, it seems to be trying to treat a headache and a sore foot. The whole country is riddled with holes and there is basically no hope of saving it. Just like in the movie, Before Liberation, people holding bundles of gold yuan coupons to grab rice, Zhang Chen asked. "Yes, this was also the case during the Great Depression in the United States," Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen asked, "What about the financial crisis?" "The financial crisis is caused by problems with the country's economic and monetary policies, or excessive speculation by financial institutions, or, like the Southeast Asian financial crisis, it is attacked by international hot money and speculators. When problems arise, they are caused from above. Generally, financial institutions such as banks and insurance companies begin to have problems, which are then transmitted to the entire society. When a financial crisis occurs, the entire country's economic structure has not collapsed, and the government's governance capabilities have not suffered a devastating blow, so it still has ways to respond, and since the financial crisis is a policy problem, it can still be adjustments to policies and measures in all aspects will continue to be effective. The biggest difference between the financial crisis and the economic crisis is that the financial crisis is fierce, but as long as the government responds properly, the boosting effect is fast and the time is short. Like the Southeast Asian financial crisis, it only took less than a year for it to subside. Well, this is also very similar to when the stock market is about to collapse. The national team of every country will enter the market, and entering the market will always have immediate results. This time our country's 4 trillion policy, I have observed, has already started to work, and its effect will become more and more expanding. The overall economic situation will recover very quickly next year. The same goes for the United States. This time, the unemployment rate in the United States is the most serious, and the most severely damaged is Wall Street. For example, Ford has applied for emergency bailout, but once the government's relief funds come in, its crisis will be greatly alleviated, including several major banks. Likewise, arguably the most difficult period is over. As for the economic crisis, as I said before, it is difficult for the government to respond. It requires more self-healing by the whole people and slowly regaining confidence. Therefore, the recovery time from the economic crisis will be very long. The economic crisis in Japan in the late 1980s and early 1990s has not yet passed, and recovery is not in sight. The recovery from the financial crisis will be rapid. Through cooperation between governments and governments, as well as cooperation with the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, the recovery will be faster than imagined. I understand, Xiaofang Zhongchen said, you mean that the US economy may recover faster than expected, and Target will also get better soon. Yes, at least the public's purchasing power will come back soon, Xiaofang said. This crisis may in turn stimulate consumption, and there will be a retaliatory growth in consumption. Zhongchen didn't understand, so he asked, what's the reason for this? If you think about it, the housing crisis has robbed many American families, but it is impossible for people to survive without everything. They must still buy the necessities that they don't have. In this way, the purchasing power will be the first to return. Definitely companies like Walmart and Target, they are so connected to people's lives. Zhongchen understood, he laughed and said, Xiaofang, how come I have never seen these things you mentioned in the news or newspapers? Xiaofang also smiled and said, brother-in-law, haven't I told you before that this world is actually very simple, either physical or chemical? Any crisis is like a chemical reaction. As long as you carefully observe, and you will quickly see the patterns. By the way, brother-in-law, from you, I know the core of Target and what others are least likely to know. When I go back this time, I will immediately discuss it with my colleagues in the company. We will pay close attention to it and increase our holdings of Target. Jide stock will push up its stock price, so the risk here will be reduced, Xiaofang said. Zhongchen said yes. He thought about it and asked, Xiaofang, is this considered insider trading? Xiaofang smiled and didn't say yes or no. Zhongchen asked, by the way, Xiaofang, do you want to go to Sanya to see our tropical botanical garden this time? Our tropical botanical garden has been basically built and it is very beautiful. Xiaofang shook her head and said next time, she would take a few elderly people with her when the vacation is longer. Xiaofang laughed as she spoke, and said, I can guarantee that starting from tonight, several old people will start to worry. What are they worried about? Zhongchen asked curiously, what can they worry about? I'm worried about what you said. I'm worried about Bai Bei and me, telling them where we are going tomorrow, Xiaofang said. They really hope that we don't go anywhere and stay at home every day. Anyway, there are not many God, let's just stay at home with them. Zhongchen smiled and said, you are so attentive. Is this a chemical reaction? Yes, the relationship between people is basically a chemical reaction, Xiaofang said. Aren't all parents like this? When they were young, they saw children surrounding them, which was annoying. When the children grow up, they start to worry. Uneasy, they began to feel disappointed one after another. This child got married, and they felt lost for a while. That child was going to study and work in a distant place, and they felt lost again. In the end, when they lost more and more, they began to feel lonely and isolated. I think my parents are even more like this now. My sister is gone and I went to the United States again. They probably feel lonely every day now. Just like looking forward to the stars and the moon, I look forward to Ziyashu coming back for dinner, but I also know that Ziyashu is destined to get married and have his own home, and the only ones left behind in the end are the two of them. What you said made me feel sad, Zhongchen said. Brother-in-law, aren't you? Xiaofang looked at him and asked, Bai Bei is gone, are you not disappointed? Zhongchen thought for a while and said, no, you are right, but maybe I am too busy every day, and secondly, there is probably an element of worry in the loss you mentioned. If Zhang Xiangbei was alone in the United States, I will definitely be worried and will call him every day, but if he is with you, I won't worry at all and I won't think of making a phone call for 3 or 4 days. That's because you know that if anything happens to Bai Bei, I will definitely call you first, Xiaofang said. Zhongchen smiled and said, yes, that's it. By the way, brother-in-law, starting from tomorrow, I will go to work with you every day, Xiaofang said. Zhao Jingjing asked me to help her take care of herself. Why? Zhang Chen asked. Clear your thoughts. Xiaofang laughed. She said she wanted me to help her clear her mind. What ideas does the financial center have that are easy to understand? Zhang Chen was puzzled. Xiaofang looked at Zhang Chen and smiled. It seems that the one who needs brainwashing the most is not her, but you. Do you think that the financial center is just the job of accountants and cashiers, right? Zhang Chen said, isn't it? Of course not. Xiaofang said, yes, that's right. The finance center doesn't make clothes or rent out a stall. Do you think it is not a profitable department at all? You don't care about them. There's no such requirement, right? Zhang Chen nodded and said yes. Then let me ask you, brother-in-law, how can a bank make so much money if it doesn't produce a piece of clothing or sell a bowl of noodles? Isn't the money in your financial center the same as the money in the bank? Zhang Chen was stunned by the question. He thought for a moment and said, can't banks make money from loans? Yes, banks can make money from loans, but all they lend out are everyone's deposits. The money they lend has to pay interest on deposits, which still costs money. The money in your financial center has no cost. Isn't it more profitable? It is difficult for a cow to lay an egg, but it is easier to give birth to a calf. In the same way, in this world, the easiest way to make money is money, and money is not the only way to make money, and lending is not the only way. Xiaofang took the bottled water on the coffee table, unscrewed the cap and took a sip. Zhang Chen looked at her. When she finished drinking, Zhang Chen said, my mind seems to have opened up a bit. Please give me a few simple examples. Xiaofang smiled and said, the simplest thing is, for example, the exchange rate is so volatile now. If you settle foreign exchange 1 week earlier or 1 week later, there will be a big difference. Is it possible to make this money? Also, what do you actually need now? The working capital is less than 10% of the book capital, and the 90% is dead money lying in the account. Not to mention anything else, the simplest way is to buy them into 1-year certificate-style treasury bonds. Is there no risk at all, but what is the difference in interest? If the financial management is proper and the cash flow rate is accelerated, it is still 10%. There are ways to save 30 to 40% of it. This is your principle and can be used to make money. Financial center, brother-in-law, you can't think of it as an accounting settlement center, let alone a financial management center. You have to think of it as the most profitable department of your company. Whether you are making clothes or doing anything else, the ultimate goal of all these activities is to convert it into money, and the financial center is to use money to make money, which is much more direct. By the way, there is a person, brother-in-law, do you still remember? He had a great influence on me. I am interested in finance. One time when we had dinner together, I listened to some words he said. At that time, I felt that finance it's like this, almost like chemistry. Zhang Chen vaguely remembered this incident and said, you mean Lao Chiao? We were together a few days ago. That's right, it's him, Mr. Chiao. Although Mr. Chiao's company is also a financial institution, they don't have direct lending authority. They are the same as you. Why can they make so much money? Xiaofang asked. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Hua and Young Boy, Pai Wuzun, Zhe, Book Friends 2020041621464535 and Book Friends 202009031727593111 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1516. The next morning, Xiaofang and Zhang Chen went to Zhang Chen's mother's place to have breakfast. 4 old people were there. They had already had breakfast, but they were all sitting there, as if waiting for them. When they saw them coming, they didn't say anything. Zhang Chen's mother just told them to eat quickly. The fried dough sticks and porridge were almost cold. Xiao Fang knew in her heart that they were waiting to hear her and Zhang Xiangbei's next arrangements. Xiao Fang pretended that it was a last-minute idea. She said to Zhang Chen, "Brother-in-law, starting from today, I will go to the company to work every day. There is something busy in the financial center. Zhao Jingjing just called me." Xiao Fang had already said this to Zhang Chen last night. Zhang Chen knew that she wanted to tell the four old people. Zhang Chen agreed. "Until when?" Xiao Fang said, "I'll leave on the 4th, let's go up to the 3rd. You have nothing else to do?" "No need to go elsewhere," Zhang Chen asked. Xiao Fang looked at him and almost laughed. This brother-in-law would be great as a partner. Xiao Fang said, "I'm not going anywhere, I'm just staying at home." Zhang Chen nodded and said yes. He saw that his mother and Xiao Zhao's mother were relieved. Zhang Chen felt funny in his heart and felt that Xiao Fang was too sensible. She understood their psychology clearly. Xiao Fang then said to Zhang Chen's mother, "Auntie, we have to come back for dinner every night." Zhang Chen's mother nodded quickly and said, "Okay, just tell me what you want to eat and I'll cook it for you and bye-bye." Xiao Fang smiled and said, "Thank you, Auntie. Just ignore Xiao Fang and Zhang Xiangbei, and don't care what I want to eat," Zhang Chen asked. "You want to come back or not?" Zhang Chen's mother scolded. The two land reclamation warriors also got the answer they wanted. Their tense faces relaxed. Lao Zhang patted his thigh and said to Xiao Zhao's father, "Shall we start work?" Xiao Zhao's father said yes, let's start work. Xiang Nan and son Xiang Yang were both still in school. Zhang Xiangbei had nothing to do, so he followed Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang to the dynamic zone. If Xiao Wu had time, he would take him to train during the day. When Xiao Wu went out for business, Zhang Xiangbei as before, I would stroll to the badminton club in front of me, look for Lu Jun, and sometimes play with Lu Jun for a while. Although Lu Jun would scold him every time he saw him, "You are a piece of rubbish and you still want me to be your sparring partner." It was a beautiful idea, but he would still pick up the racket while scolding him. Xiao Fang went to the financial center. After a while, Tan Shehen came. Zhang Chen asked, "Why are you here? You don't have to go to work." "Zhao Jingjing told me that I also came to let Xiao Fang clean my brain," Tan Shehen said, and Zhang Chen laughed. Tan Shehen walked to the financial center next door, but she stopped coming. Zhang Chen called Su Qiaxin down and told her what Xiao Fang told him yesterday about Target. Su Qiaxin said, "My dear, now my pounding heart can calm down." Zhang Chen scolded, another choice of words was inappropriate, and Anjing died. "That's better than being scared to death," Su Qiaxin said. Zhang Chen stood up and wanted to visit Yan'an Road. The Tuxianjiayuan Hotel on Yan'an Road was being renovated. Zhang Chen wanted to go there and see how it was progressing. Xiao Wu was training with Zhang Xiangbei next door. Zhang Chen didn't call him. He walked downstairs alone and prepared to drive there. When he got downstairs, he didn't want to drive. It was such a short distance, so he simply walked over. Zhang Chen passed through the dynamic zone and reached the stadium road in front. Before he reached the center of Hangzhou, a car stopped behind Zhang Chen and someone called, "Mr. Zhang, Mr. Zhang." Zhang Chen turned around and saw Mr. Wang's head coming out of the car window to call him. Zhang Chen stopped. Mr. Huang got out of the car and the two of them walked to the side of the road. Mr. Huang and Zhang Chen said, "Someone saw Mr. Lu in Jinhua." "Jinhua, why did he go to Jinhua?" Zhang Chen asked. "I don't know either. People from Shaoxing called me and told me," Mr. Huang said. "Isn't the matter settled?" "Why are the Shaoxing people looking for him?" Zhang Chen asked. "Isn't Lao Ni dead?" They also went to Nanjing, but the result was not ideal. The guarantee stamp stamped by Meng was found to be fake. "I couldn't find the signature." There was no way to compare it. Anyway, this matter some are pulled. The only person these Shaoxing people can find is Mr. Liu. They want to find someone named Meng through Mr. Liu. Of course, if they can squeeze out Mr. Liu, they still hope to squeeze out more, Mr. Huang said. How can there be such truth? Zhang Chen scolded. Hey, there are some things in society that just don't make sense, Mr. Huang said. If you can contact Mr. Liu, tell him to run away if you want to. Don't go to Zhejiang with his face. He always appears on TV and newspapers, no one knows him. Of course, Mr. Huang hopes that Lu Ligan will run as far away as possible. Meng Ping and he are not on the same page anyway. What he is worried about is that Lu Ligan will be caught by the Shaoxing people. People nowadays are ruthless and will use any tricks. Mr. Huang, he was worried that his conspiracy with Zhang Chen and the others would be known by the people of Shaoxing. After Lao Ni's death, the factory was completely taken over by the local government, and the people of Shaoxing were a little anxious. The people of Shaoxing would not come looking for Zhang Chen, Tan Shaohen, and the others, and they would not dare to come if they had no reason. Lu Ligan was the only breach in this matter. Zhang Chen didn't know if Mr. Huang was teasing him when he said this to him. Zhang Chen said, I can't contact them. Their phone numbers have been thrown away. How can I contact them? Mr. Huang said yes, he would just remind him if there was any contact. Zhang Chen agreed that if he calls me, I will tell him, but I guess he won't be brave enough to do so. I understand, I owe you such a big favor, Mr. Huang said. Mr. Huang got in the car and left, and Zhang Chen continued to walk forward. He was wondering, Meng Ping's official seal was fake, so what was going on? Logically speaking, Meng Ping is not the kind of person who would use a fake official seal to fool people. Qian Fang didn't call him to tell him, and Zhang Chen couldn't ask. Mr. Huang said that the Shaoxing people's affairs were nonsense in Nanjing. Zhang Chen understood that it was because of Li Yang. Could this fake seal be Li Yang again? What are you doing? Zhang Chen didn't know, and it was hard to ask. There were some things that the fewer people should know, the better. If he needs to know, Qian Fang will call him. Zhang Chen shook his head. He couldn't figure out what Lu Ligan was doing in Jinhua. He didn't seem to know anyone in Jinhua. Xiao Fang and Zhao Jingjing did not even take a break on New Year's Day, but continued to come to the company. Zhao Jingjing said, this is a rare opportunity, how could I let Xiao Fang go? Tan Shaohen also comes every day. When she comes, she will sit here with Zhang Chen first, and then go to the financial center next door. Tan Shaohen and Zhang Chen said, don't tell me, Zhang Chen, listening to Xiaofang's lectures is more valuable than the EMBA classes I took. In those classes, the invited teachers spent half the time bragging, so why are they so famous? Professor, I think Xiaofang can become a professor among professors. So powerful? Zhang Chen asked. Tan Shaohen said, of course. Xiaofang will also spend a certain amount of time every day to tell us about her own work and how they build various financial models on Wall Street, so that we can improve our ability to identify the pitfalls. It is really eye-opener. Sigh, I was just thinking that if those two tough guys, Gangzi and Meng Ping, had asked Xiaofang to clean their brains earlier, they might not have fallen into such a big fight. Zhang Chen, why don't you go over and learn from them? Lessons from the past. Zhang Chen said, no, my head hurts when I see those numbers. Well, it's really unreasonable that a person like you can still make money, Tan Shaohen scolded. Zhang Chen said proudly, I don't care about small things, but I don't care about big things. Tan Shaohen rolled her eyes at him, ignored him, and went to the next door. As expected, they went home for dinner every night, and Tan Shaohen also went back with them. Xiaoshu and Yao Fen didn't know if Xiaofang and Xiaoshu had told them specifically, but they also came back for dinner every night. This makes it convenient for Tan Shaohen. During mealtime, it becomes the time for her and Yao Fen to explain and report work. She can go directly from home to the dynamic zone every day. The happiest ones were the two old ladies. Every morning, they discussed a list at home and planned routes to various markets, and then solemnly went out shopping with a small foldable trailer. This kept them busy. Zhang Chen's mother said to Lao Zhang in a lively manner, "If we can't come back in time at noon, you two will eat cold dishes or hot meals by yourself." Lao Zhang was angry with her and told her, "No, we will go to the restaurant at the door, order a few dishes and have a couple of drinks." "It's up to you." Zhang Chen's mother was not angry at all, but said, "We can't take care of you now." Yes, with so many people eating every night, this is the highlight. How could they care about these two land reclamation warriors? After dinner that day, Xiaoshu and Yao Fen took Xiaoshu's parents, Tan Shuhen, and Xiaofang to see the house that Xiaoshu had just renovated. They also went south and north. The decoration design of the house was by Zhang Chen, made it for Xiaoshu. Zhang Chen had gone to see it many times but did not go with him. He was about to go back to his house when his mother stopped him. "Sit down," his mother said to him seriously. Zhang Chen sat down on the sofa and looked at his mother. His mother asked, "Chen, what do you think of Xiaofang?" "Very good, what's wrong?" Zhang Chen asked. "Is it possible for you two to be together?" Zhang Chen's mother said. Zhang Chen asked, "What do you mean?" "I mean, is it possible for you two to become a family?" Zhang Chen's mother asked. Zhang Chen asked knowingly, "Haven't we been a family for a long time?" "Oh, I mean, is it possible for you two to become a family?" Zhang Chen's mother was anxious. "Look at Xiaofang, how similar she is to Xiao Zhao. I can't bear to marry such a good girl to someone else. I can't bear to part with you. You two get along well, and she is very good to Bai Bei, just like Xiao Zhao, and I think my mother-in-law also has this intention. If you agree, we will make it clear." "Don't mess around," Zhang Chen said quickly. "If you talk nonsense, Xiaofang and I won't dare to live in the same house. I will move to the company today." "Okay, I won't let you fart." "You guys can take your time," Zhang Chen's mother said quickly. "Thank you for your monthly votes from Ren Qiang Jidu and Ma Xiao Mao Chang, Qian Dad, Robin Granite, George Xiao, Lao Shenza Sang, and Jinwu Yulong. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1517. Zhang Chen returned to his house, sat down on the sofa in the living room, and thought blankly. It was Zhao Jingjing who first came to tell Zhang Chen about what he and Xiaofang said. He took it as a joke and let it go after hearing it. Today, even his mother came to talk to him seriously. Zhang Chen felt that this was a bit funny, but he had to think about it carefully. Zhang Chen does not deny that Xiaofang is very good, and he and she really get along very well. However, this kind of compatibility is not the kind of love between a man and a woman, but Zhang Chen has seen Xiaofang since the first time. She was still two girls with Xiaoshu, a little girl squeezed next to Xiao Zhao on one side. From that time on, Zhang Chen always regarded Xiaofang as his own sister. Precisely because he regards Xiaofang as his biological sister, even if Xiao Zhao is no longer around, he doesn't feel anything strange when he and Xiaofang are in the same room. It feels normal. Who is living with whose sister? In the same home? Zhang Chen himself has no brothers and sisters. Xiao Zhao's younger brothers and sisters are of course his younger brothers and sisters. Precisely because Zhang Chen himself has no brothers and sisters, when he was a child, he actually longed for having younger brothers and sisters in his heart, so he treated Xiao Zhao very much. The relationship between Shu and Xiaofang is one step closer than others. He was too familiar with the two of them. When Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang were together, everything they did felt very natural. It was like a brother and a sister getting along like that. It was even higher than that. Xiao Zhao was originally at her home. Is the head of the family. Xiao Fang and Xiaoshu see her as more than just a sister. All their major decisions are made with Xiao's help. For this reason, Zhang Chen naturally felt like an elder in front of Xiaoshu and Xiao Fang. He would also make decisions for them and take care of them like Xiao Zhao. And when the two of them encountered anything, instead of discussing matters with their parents, they would talk to his brother-in-law and let him help them decide. The relationship between them is so simple. Now they are asked to change this relationship, let Zhang Chen be Xiao Fang and fall in love, and the brother-in-law become a boyfriend. Zhang Chen himself feels uncomfortable and a little funny. He felt that he couldn't even speak to Xiao Zhao. Zhang Chen shook his head and decided not to think about it. He said not to think about it, but his thoughts still stayed on this matter. He thought about how they are now, and he and Xiao Fang living together would be a bit dazzling in the eyes of others. Looking back and thinking about it, he felt that his mother and Xiao Zhao's mother even deliberately wanted them to stay together for a while and encouraged them to be together, so every night after they finished eating, the two old people would talk to them say, "You go back." Now that I think about it, the words of the two old ladies had a profound meaning. Zhang Chen couldn't help but smile. He looked at Xiao Fang's room and thought that he would forget it this time. Xiao Fang was going back to the United States in a few days anyway. After she left, Zhang Chen felt that he needed to make some arrangements. No matter what happens, Xiao Fang will always come back. Like Xiaoshu, she should have her own home. Zhang Chen decided that after Xiao Fang left, he would go to Tanshahen and buy Xiao Fang a house. Should I buy this house in Shanghai or Hangzhou? If Xiao Fang will return to China to work in the future, Zhang Chen thinks it is more appropriate to buy in Shanghai. When Xiao Fang comes back, she will definitely stay and work in Shanghai. Shanghai is the financial center. What is there in Hangzhou? What kind of finance can you do in Hangzhou? Finance means collecting deposits and lending money. But if you don't come back to work, but just come back often to visit relatives, then it's better to buy in Hangzhou. Zhang Chen compared Hangzhou and Shanghai. After comparing, he also started to laugh. Why are we comparing Hangzhou and Shanghai? Just buy one set at the same time. Anyway, Tanshahen and the others are both in these two places. There is a project. If Xiao Fang herself feels that there is no need for a house in the future, let her sell it by herself. It's such a simple thing. Zhang Chen stopped thinking about it, stood up, walked into the room, and saw Xiao Zhao smiling at him. Zhang Chen said, "Don't laugh, I know you will agree." On January 4th, Xiao Fang was going back to the United States. Zhang Xiangbei was still here and would not go back until the end of the month. Zhang Chen, Xiao, and Zhang Xiangbei drove to Shanghai Pudong Airport to see Xiao Fang off. Just the same, just carrying a backpack, she said to the two old ladies, "How good it is, so that I don't look like I am going on a long trip." When she said this, the two old ladies agreed. Originally, they felt that she would not bring this or that, and they were feeling sad. They felt that it would be too hard for her to bring nothing with her when she arrived in the United States. "I'm so unaccustomed to it." After hearing what she said, I felt much better. Looking at her, she looked like she was carrying her bag and going out to work, and would come back in the evening. Actually, it's not that far, just a dozen hours. Next time, you can go to the United States to see me. By the way, there is also a wholesale market in New York, which is full of Chinese stalls. It's the same as in China. Xiao Fang looked at the two sad faces and felt sad. She told them and they nodded repeatedly. Gone. Standing at the security checkpoint, watching Xiao Fang walk in alone, Zhang Chen felt a movement in his heart. He felt that this figure looked familiar. Then he remembered that time he was at Pudong Airport to send Xiao Zhao to Beijing. Isn't that what happened? Their backs are really similar. I don't know why, Zhang Chen suddenly felt sad. Back in Hangzhou, Zhang Chen told Tan Shehen that he wanted to buy a house for Xiao Fang. Tan Shehen agreed. She said that Xiao Fang was not in a hurry anyway. The house in Shanghai, the land we bought last year, was good. On Century Avenue in Pudong, next to Century Plaza, let Lao Wan choose a house for Xiao Fang in Hangzhou. Let Xiao Fang be my neighbor. The townhouse next to me can be named under Xiao Fang's name right away, Tan Shehen said. Isn't that what Zhangzi left for himself? Zhang Chen, of course, knew about that house, he asked. Tan Shehen shook her head and said, do you think he will stay there again? Zhang Chen thought about it, and it was true that since Lao Tan had taken root by the Meisi River, Lu Ligan would definitely not live in that house again. Even if he was really with Tan Shehen in the future, they would still go there. I will live somewhere else instead of living with Lao Tan. For a pair of natural enemies, even temporary peace is an illusion. Zhang Chen said, okay, let's do this. Zhang Chen asked Tan Shehen, have you sent out the open letter to shareholders? It has been written, but lawyer, you said that there is no rush to publish it now. We will publish it when the annual report is disclosed. At the same time, we will wait and see the situation in the next 2 months, Tan Shehen said. How is the overall situation now? Zhang Chen asked. It should be said that it is getting better, but it is very strange. What's wrong? The number of second-hand housing sales in Hangzhou has actually exceeded that of first-hand housing. This has never happened before. I can't figure out why this is the case, Tan Shehen said. I don't know your real estate business, could this be related to the stimulus policy? Zhang Chen asked. Maybe, Tan Shehen said, if it is related, it may be related to tax reduction and exemption. There is a spring festival this month. I don't have much hope. I just hope that there will be a very good sales next month. In this way, I can do it before the annual report is disclosed, and I may not have to worry about the issues I'm worried about. In February, they originally expected the Jiangkan project to be launched at the end of last year. The Jiangkan project was delayed last year due to funding and the incident involving Lu Ligan. By the end of last month, MSCAI and their 5 billion. After getting it in place, I was working overtime to catch up on the progress, trying to make up for the delayed progress before the Spring Festival. Tan Shehen is counting on this project to give them a good start. Speaking of the Spring Festival, Tan Shehen, I remembered that we should go to Sanya for the Spring Festival this year. His parents, Xiao Wu, and I have brought the Pole with us. We have been lying to them that the Pole cannot come back abroad. Normally, there is nothing. This is the new year. If it were still the two of them. Okay, let's go to Sanya, Tan Shehen agreed before Zhang Chen finished speaking. It was settled, and when Zhang Chen started writing the list of people going to Sanya, he felt sad again. In the past, they would come and go in large groups, and even Lao Ni would take his own plane to join in the fun. But this year, Xiao Fang and Zhang Xiangbei are not here, Lu Ligan is not here, He Hongmei is not here, Meng Ping is not here. Meng Ping was not here, and even Qian Fang and the others were not in the mood to go. Xiaoshu and Yao Fen took advantage of this holiday to go to Japan again. This time, all the people who went to Sanya added up, and there was one more person per pair of hands. Among them 8 of them were old people, and the only ones left were him, Tan Shehen, and Xiang Nan. There are really no people left to go to the stalls and eat night wine together, but even so, they must go, otherwise, Zhang Chen can't think of any good way to appease Lu Ligan's parents. He and Tan Shehen couldn't just go to their house for New Year's Eve dinner abruptly, right? Thank you Wu Family Courtyard and Book Friends 202101153362715 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium era, south to north. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1518. This year's Spring Festival is on January 26. Zhang Chen and the others arrived in Sanya on the 24th. Today's Sanya is different from the past. It has become a hotspot for domestic tourism. During the Spring Festival, hotel accommodation is very tight. The price of the hotel has almost doubled than usual, but it is still full. Even Zhang Chen and his villa in the tropical botanical garden are already full. Zhang Chen felt very strange and asked Cao Minfang, "Our hotel in the botanical garden only opened this year and has not done any publicity. How come so many people know about it?" Cao Minfang smiled and said, "You have forgotten that we have to receive so many meetings and trainings a year. Some of them are held directly at the Botanical Garden Hotel, but they are not held at the Botanical Garden Hotel. They are held at the Banmuishan Resort Hotel. Eventually, their banquet will be held at the Sea Restaurant in our botanical garden." Seeing such a fairyland-like place, these people, if they come to Sanya with their families and friends during the Spring Festival, why not stay there? Zhang Chen understood and said with a smile, "Did you deliberately arrange that banquet?" Cao Minfang also laughed and said, "They need it too. They stay in the same place all the time, looking at the same sea. It's still fresh for the first 2 days. When the freshness wears off, they still don't die of suffocation. They like to go to Half Acre for meals. Tian Hotel. There are many hotels in Sanya now that host conferences and trainings. We are always the best in terms of business. We have many choices for our guests, which makes them look colorful. The nearby Jinling Resort is under renovation and has not yet been completed. They are staying in their own hotel this year. These rooms were squeezed out by Cao Minfang. Even Zhang Chen could not arrange a suite, but lived in a standard room. Cao Minfang discussed with Zhang Chen. She said that the nursery opposite the hotel has been moved to the tropical botanical garden. She wanted to expand the more than 10 acres of land in the original nursery into the second building of the half-acre resort hotel. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, you ask Jason and the others to come up with a plan." Cao Minfang said yes. Zhang Chen and the others arrived at noon. In the afternoon, Cao Minfang took them to the tropical botanical garden. The tropical botanical garden is now one of the most popular attractions in Sanya. Most of the reason is because Zhang Chen accepted Mr. Han's. It is recommended that the tropical botanical garden is free of charge. In this way, almost every tourist group that comes to Sanya will be taken here by the tour guide. Firstly, this place is really beautiful, and almost every tourist who comes is amazed. Secondly, it is easy to spend half a day here, and tourists, and I didn't know that it was actually free, which is of great benefit to travel agencies. Cao Minfang and Zhang Chen said that although admission here is free, they estimate that this year it will be self-sufficient. More people will come, which will drive the popularity of their hotel restaurants, sea restaurants, and cafes, shops, as well as diving and other leisure places. The business also brought business to their hotel. Some people came here to see it and stayed here the next day. Therefore, although the tickets are free, the revenue has not been reduced. When our Marine Life Museum is completed next year, more people will come here. Zhang Chen asked Cao Minfang, "Is that Jacques still there?" Cao Minfang said that he went to Shanghai and there was a garden project at the World Expo, as well as the Canada Pavilion, which he designed. "No wonder I didn't see you bringing braised vegetables," Zhang Chen said with a smile. Cao Minfang also laughed. She told Zhang Chen that when Jacques left, he called all the contractors together, gave them a lecture, and told them, "You half-brained people, don't mess with me. I understand you very well. I know you will cut corners, but I will come back. If I find out, no matter where you go, I will drag you back here to rework." Zhang Chen laughed. They took a battery car to the viewing platform on the top of the mountain. The view down from here is even more beautiful. The two land reclamation warriors were very excited when they saw this place. Lao Zhang and Cao Minfang said, "Mr. Cao, when we retire, we will come to your place to plant trees and raise fish." Xiao Zhao's father nodded repeatedly. Cao Minfang smiled and said, "Okay, these two uncles are very good workers. Even the workers in the nursery can't do their work better than you." Zhang Chen looked at Lao Zhang and said with a smile, "Didn't you retire a long time ago?" Lao Zhang glared at him, and Zhang Chen finally realized. He remembered Xiaofang's words. For the old people, retirement is after being empty again and again, and the children have left them. That is the real life. Retirement, for Xiao's parents, means waiting until Xiaoshu and Xiaofang get married. For his parents, it means at least waiting until Zhang Xiangbei starts college. With fewer people coming and going at home, the old man's heart cooled down, and he felt that he needed to find a secluded place to stay quietly. Only then would they truly retire. Xiang Nan was also excited. She said, "I will definitely come here to make a movie in the future." Tan Shahen blurted out, "Then you must first be admitted to the film school." One stone sent shockwaves, and Zhang Chen's mother immediately said, "We Nanan will definitely pass the exam. Look at the actresses on TV, which actress is as good looking as our Nanan?" Mrs. Tan snorted, "That's right." Lao Tan scolded from the side, "Only a mother like this would look down on her own daughter." Tan Shahen quickly raised her hands and shouted, "I surrender, I surrender. Our Nanan will definitely be a big star in the future. I am the mother of the star. I am counting on her." Zhang Chen, Xiang Nan, and Cao Minfang laughed. Xiang Nan proudly said to Tan Shahen, "It's hard to mess with such a strong group of relatives and friends, right? Are you trembling?" Tan Shahen nodded and said with a smile, "It's not easy to mess with them. They are all your biggest fans. From now on, you will be the idol of the elderly." Xiang Nan went to hit her angrily, but Tan Shahen grabbed her hand and hugged her. Old Lu pointed to the glass house on the sea and asked, "What is there?" Zhang Chen told him that it was a restaurant on the sea, a place for drinking and eating. When Lao Lu heard that it was a drinking place, he immediately laughed and said that drinking is good. Cao Minfang said to him, "Uncle, our dinner will be arranged here." Upon hearing this, not only Lao Lu, but also everyone else was very happy. Cao Minfang pointed to the villa not far from the top of the mountain and whispered to Zhang Chen that only that one was empty now. Zhang Chen asked, "What, you want to sell it too?" Cao Minfang smiled and said, "How dare you? That was the house that Zhang Chen left for himself. He would live here with Xiao Zhao in the future. He didn't want many strangers to live in their rooms, so no matter how good the hotel business was, Cao Minfang did not put this house into the house. A villa is rented out." Hearing that Zhang Chen had arrived in Sanya and learned about the situation of his team, it seemed as if he knew that he didn't even have a company to drink night wine with at night. That night, Xiao Ding specially came over to accompany Zhang Chen for a late-night snack. They did not go to Ben Muishan Hotel. Xiao Ding said that there were too many acquaintances there and they could not even drink a glass of wine. They went to the Chun Yuan seafood food stall. Most of the people who came here were tourists from other places, and there were not many locals in Sanya. The two of them chose a table and sat down. Xiao Ding asked, "Should they cook on the stove or stir-fry?" Zhang Chen said, "Let's make a side stove." Xiao Ding said yes. He called the waiter and ordered the dishes. He didn't go over to look at the weight of the seafood and asked the waiter to weigh it for them. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Are you so confident about them?" Xiao Ding said, "With this Sanya dialect, they don't dare to be short of a pound of gold. If they are short of a pound of gold, they will be short of you mainlanders. I don't know since when, Hainan no longer has big aphrodisiac wine or small aphrodisiac wine, but only deer turtle wine." The two of them ordered 2 bottles of deer turtle wine and started drinking. Xiao Ding and Zhang Chen said, something happened to Lao Su. Old Su? Su Lixing, Deputy Mayor Su, Zhang Chen asked, what's wrong with him? I want to see him. Can't see, let's go in, Xiao Ding said. Zhang Chen was shocked and asked quickly, what do you mean by going in? Take bribes, get caught, go in, Xiao Ding said. Zhang Chen was stunned. The figure with the swarthy face and a bowed figure immediately appeared in his mind. He could not imagine that this person would be associated with the word bribery. This person said that the whole family only someone who supported him as a college student, and he wanted to do it not only for himself, but also for his family. This man who has become the deputy mayor himself and whose wife is an ordinary worker at the farmer's market, who said he wants nothing more than a smooth sailing until retirement and a stable life, actually accepted bribes. Zhang Chen was so impressed by this person that he even thought that he was the replica of Lu Chengcheng. Unexpectedly, the replica failed to turn out to be successful and actually overturned. Zhang Chen's shock can be imagined. Can't you think of it? Xiao Ding asked. Zhang Chen nodded and said, I really didn't expect that. Although I didn't meet him a few times, I left a deep impression on him. We didn't expect that something could happen to him. Everyone in our compound was dumbfounded. We originally thought that even if the stone lion at the door would accept bribes, Su Lixing wouldn't be able to do it. He was hiding it too deeply. Xiao Ding sighed and continued, also, from what was discovered later, he not only accepted bribes, but also demanded bribes, and his appearance was ugly. So many hotels and tourism projects in Sanya have to be approved by him. Think about it, how many people have asked for him? This is such a shame. He probably thinks that these investors are all from outside anyway. He reached out to them without knowing it. He doesn't understand that God is watching what people are doing. Where are the party disciplines and state laws? The mirror is hanging high. You can't escape either. Fortunately, you have Brother Tan in this project, otherwise, I guess he would reach out to you, and you would be in trouble now. That's a bribe, Zhang Chen said, and he also felt scared. Yes, all projects involving bribery companies have now been stopped and reapproved, Xiao Ding said, this is a big trap for people. Are you not affected? Zhang Chen asked. I don't, Xiao Ding said with a smile, I am a person who is usually called to eat, drink and have fun, but I don't dare to touch that kind of money in front of me. I have suffered a lot for greed, so we put it's not enough for Brother Tan to harm him, but he also harms himself? I'm not exaggerating. If Xiao Zheng and I are really greedy, we have plenty of opportunities, but in this regard, everyone is very upright. Zhang Chen nodded and said, that's how it should be. It was also Brother Tan's education, a living education. Brother Tan paved the way for several of us. If we are sorry for ourselves, we must also be worthy of him, Xiao Ding said. Zhang Chen raised his glass and said, okay, I'll toast you. Xiao Ding picked up the cup, clinked it with Zhang Chen, and the two of them drank it in one gulp. Moreover, think about it, what's the point in being like Su Lixing? He's about to retire, and he's still so greedy. He doesn't dare to spend the greedy money. Will it look good at home? Not only do he not dare to spend it, he didn't even have normal consumption, and his wife still wanted to take advantage of the market to close down and buy the worst and cheapest vegetables. I'm just pretending. I'm afraid people won't understand him. With your normal income as a deputy mayor, would you be so poor that you can't even afford food? Is it too much to pretend? But you really deceived so many of us. Xiao Ding said, shaking his head constantly. Zhang Chen asked, does Brother Tan know about this? I didn't tell him, Xiao Ding said, think about it. There is no need to crush the little good things in people's hearts. Let Su Lixing, in the big brother's heart, still be the original Su Lixing. Zhang Chen thought about it and realized that Xiao Ding's statement was correct. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Shell Me Chong, Hoo, Reader 11963189776326411024, Lu, Void Broken Dream, Why Can't I Change My Name, Chien Dad, Dowdu, and Salted Fish Sewer for my monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1519. When Zhang Chen and the others returned to Hangzhou from Sanya, it was already February 1st, the 7th day of the lunar month. The next day, Zhang Chen and Tan Shehen were going to work. Xiao and Xiaoshu returned to Hangzhou before them. Together with Su Qiaxin, they drove 3 cars to pick them up at the airport. Xiaoshu drove Zhang Chen's parents and his own parents, Su Qiaxin drove Tan Shehen's family, and Xiao they took Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan's parents to their home. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan's mother said, "Auntie, if you need anything, call us." Lu Ligan's mother has been complaining since the Spring Festival. She said that even if he goes to the United States, he can call back during the Spring Festival and ask, "Are we both dead?" Zhang Chen and Tan Shehen could only prevaricate, saying that it would be inconvenient to call back from the United States, and they would have to make an overseas call. Old Lu said, "Is that America in Shanwu in Qiandao Lake? It's not even easy to make phone calls." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Not in Shanwu, but when we are in the daytime, it is night there, and when he is at night, it is daytime here." Mother Lu hit the nail on the head. She cursed, "Zhang Chen, he is bullying you with this pole. He knows that if he lets it go, you will take care of it. He is leaving his father and mother to you." After leaving their room, Tan Shehen and Zhang Chen said, "Zhang Chen, don't tell me, this pole really has you. He can run away so thoroughly. He didn't even call home to know that you would do it take care of." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "What's the matter? It's just a little effort, but you, Lao Tan has done a good job. He seems to be particularly friendly with Lao Lu this time." Tan Shehen sighed and said, "They are showing compassion. Think about it, they have me and Nanan, your parents, and Xiao's parents have you, these two are the only ones with no one around them. What else do they care about?" Zhang Chen was silent. At this time, Liu's mother thought about it again. She told Zhang Chen that if Zhangzi calls back, tell him that his father and mother are dead. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu retreated in panic. When they got to the car, they looked at each other and sighed. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu said, "Let's go directly to the factory to have a look. Many workers are back today, Xiao Wu." Wu said yes. After the Spring Festival, the spring is cold, but the entire real estate market in Hangzhou still shows the strange phenomenon that the sales volume of second-hand houses is much higher than that of first-hand houses. Real estate bosses are not sure what is going on. I just feel that after the country's 4 trillion yuan has been reduced, real estate has become a pillar industry. Local governments in various places are launching infrastructure projects. The original 4-lane road into the city has been widened to 8 lanes. Roads began to be dug one by one. Life seemed to be getting better for the bosses who usually dealt with them, including those who sold steel, cement, and sand and gravel. But why were they, the pillars, still suffering? Ha. Finally, someone couldn't hold it back anymore and started to take action. On February 19, Yefan Haitian city in Xiaosha lowered the price from the original 8,200 yuan/square meter to 5,900 yuan/square meter, carrying the Year of the Ox in Hangzhou. The first flag for price reduction -30% off. After leading Xiaosha's housing prices to soar to more than 8,000 yuan in 2007, it seems that overnight, Haitian city's prices have returned to their original point. Since then, under the leadership of Haitian City, many real estate projects have followed suit, such as Dexon Bolin Apartment, Jindy Golden Jiantang, Zixi Villa, discounts and price reductions have become a common trend in Hangzhou. Stimulated by the price reduction effect, the IC transaction volume began to show warmth with the climate change in spring. In January, the housing transaction volume in the main urban area of Hangzhou was still lower than the same period in 2007 and 2008. By February, in the first month of the year, transaction volume began to exceed that of the previous 2 years. Thousands of willows bloom in the spring breeze, and everyone enjoys the discount. This sudden price cut caught Tan Shehen off guard. She had expected that their Jiangkan project, which opened in February, would bring them a good sales performance, but this seemed to be in vain. The problem with their land in Jiangkan was that the land price was too high at that time. The average floor price was more than 9,000 yuan per square meter. By this time, their house had no room for price reductions, and even they could not afford it. The originally expected hot scenes will not appear, and the crowd may become deserted as soon as the market opens. There are only 2 ways in front of them. One is to follow the price reduction and lower the price directly to the cost price. But that's it. If everyone starts a price war, their prices will still be unattractive. There is another way. The road is. Tan Shehen thought twice and told Lao Tan to postpone the opening. If the opening is delayed, sales this month will be choked, Lao Tan said. Tan Shehen nodded. She said, I know. She knew what Lao Tan said, but she only said the first half and left the second half unsaid. That is, if the sales in February were bad enough, what about the subsequent annual report disclosure? Such an annual report disclosure will definitely cause Splendid China's stock price to fall. To what extent it will fall, Tan Shehen has no idea, but she feels that if it falls further, it will not fall to the level of more than $40 last year. This loss is what she must bearable. Otherwise, if the Jiangkan project follows the trend and reduces prices, it will not bring in salespeople, and it will not count if it does not make money. The most frightening thing is that this project may be a disaster. This is a huge project of more than 450,000 square meters. Tan Shehen couldn't bear it, and let it become the second Sky City. These 2 giant projects would completely crush their company. Since ancient times, Huashan Mountain has been a road. Tan Shehen felt that even if she walked on Huashan Mountain today, she must walk it. Tan Shehen called Yao Fen over and told her that the opening of Jiangkan's project was delayed. When will it be postponed? Yao Fen asked. The real estate fair in May. Tan Shehen thought for a while and said. What she was thinking in her mind was that this wave of price cuts would at least bring back the popularity. From now until the housing fair, there are still 3 months. Tan Shehen felt that as long as the popularity returned, house prices would definitely rise. With these 3 factors in a few months, I hope that the housing prices in Hangzhou can catch up with the target price of their Jiangkan project. Even if they can't reach the target price, they will at least make a small profit per square meter. Yao Fen agreed, and she would make arrangements right away when she returned to the office. The first thing she did was to remove the advertisements that were going to be placed in newspapers and TV stations, and then negotiated with the performance company to postpone the originally scheduled promotional performance activities, and then discussed with the sales department, say hello to the staff of the Jiangkan project sales department and postpone the formation. After the postponement of the opening of this project, Tan Shehen could only stand by and watch the increase in transaction volume in Hangzhou's real estate market due to price cuts. She also waited for her annual report to be disclosed to see how far the stock price would fall. Tan Shehen felt that she had nothing else to do except stand by and watch. The only thing that made Tan Shehen happy was that, except for Hangzhou, the sales of the branches below continued to recover. Su Qiaxin ran into Zhang Chen's office happily, and then Zhao Jingjing also ran in. Su Qiaxin shouted, come on, boss." Zhang Chen raised his head and looked at her, not knowing what she was talking about. Su Qiaxin sat down on the chair opposite Zhang Chen's desk, put her head on the table and started crying. Zhang Chen was startled and asked quickly, "What's wrong, Suki Oxen?" Suki Oxen continued to cry and ignored him. Zhao Jingjing was also startled by Suki Oxen's sudden move. She stood there, looking at Zhang Chen and then at Suki Oxen. Zhang Chen asked Zhao Jingjing, "What's wrong with her?" Zhao Jingjing shook her head. Zhang Chen asked, "Suki Oxen, did that damn Xiao bully you?" "You're the one bullying me," Suki Oxen said without raising her head while crying. Zhang Chen was dumbfounded by her. He said, "Why did I bully you?" But she knew that Xiao Wu didn't bully her. Zhao Jingjing stood there, smiling slightly as if she knew what was going on. Zhang Chen asked Zhao Jingjing, "What's wrong with her?" Zhao Jingjing shook her head and said with a smile, "Let her speak for herself." Zhang Chen scolded, "Why are you so crazy?" Zhao Jingjing laughed, "No, I just let Kioxen tell you." Zhang Chen pushed the napkin box on the table in front of Su Kioxen and said to her, "Come, wipe your tears. After wiping your tears, let's talk about something." Su Kioxen took out 4 or 5 tissues and wiped away her tears. Then she raised her head and said to Zhang Chen, "Damn Jessica, the first payment was paid 2 days in advance." Zhang Chen understood and laughed loudly. He said, "So that's what happened. You shouldn't be happy. Why are you still crying? You don't know that people are counting the days every day. They are afraid that when 3 months are up and there is not a penny of money coming in, they are dead." Not only is it difficult to explain here, Mr. Shentu and others, as well as those I have been to, there are so many companies and factories, but I can't deal with any of them. The money comes in as scheduled, and I can sleep well at night. Didn't you see the acne on my face? Su Kioxen was talking like a machine gun. Zhang Chen understood. It was true that she was on the front line. Although she did not give Jessica a guarantee, she accompanied Jessica to these companies and factories. But for her, if the payment for the goods was not returned on time, if people couldn't find Jessica, they would definitely be looking for her. Shentu Hanjian might not say anything about Zhang Chen, but she would definitely scold Su Kioxen. Thinking about it this way, she was indeed under a lot of pressure. Zhao Jingjing said, "Fortunately, this Jessica did not disappoint." Su Kioxen also burst into tears and smiled. She said, "Boss, you are a good dream girl. If she were here, I would even want to kiss her." Zhang Chen said, "Okay, in order to comfort your acne, I'll treat you to whatever you want to eat tonight." "Really?" Su Kioxen asked. Zhang Chen said, "Of course. Don't let the wealth flow to outsiders." "I want to go to Huihuan's place," Su Kioxen said. Tuxianjiayuan Hotel on Yan'an Road, Zhang Chen asked, "You have acne on your face, and you still want to eat such spicy food?" Zhang Chen and his friends opened the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel on Yan'an Road on February 10, and it has only been a little over a week since today. "Fighting poison with poison is fine," Su Kioxen said. "Okay then," Zhang Chen agreed. "Do I have a share?" Zhao Jingjing asked. Zhang Chen pointed at Su Kioxen and said, "She makes the decision today, you ask her." When Su Kioxen heard this, she was overjoyed and shouted, "Go, you all go, Xiaoli, Li Wei, Ji Ling, everyone go. Oh, I have to call Huihuan first. I can't book any other seats. Thank you for your monthly votes from Zhenyu, haha 99,223, Shi Yitan, Zongkai 727, The Demon in the Wine Glass, Book Friends 120211022076691, and 130221184047110. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium era, south to north. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1520. At around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Zhang Chen received a call from Li Yong. He said, "Zhang Chen, I will go to your place for dinner tonight. By the way, I will invite Lao Tan and Xiao Wu. If it is convenient, Tan Shahen can come together." Zhang Chen said yes. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen was confused. Li Yong hadn't had dinner with him for a long time. He didn't have time. It was almost 10 o'clock when he left the office after work every day. When he made an appointment with Zhang Chen, he usually made an appointment with him. "I have 2 drinks after get off work, mostly on weekends or Sundays. It's only Tuesday." What's even more strange is that he actually confessed to calling Lao Tan, Xiao Wu, and Tan Shahen. He knew that Xiao Wu didn't need to call, he was upstairs. This was to tell Xiao Wu not to go out and wait for him. He had to call him for dinner at this time. Go to Lao Tan, Xiao Wu, and Tan Shahen, this is the weirdest of weirdness. You must know that Li Yong would deliberately avoid eating with Tan Shahen in the past. With his identity, eating with a female CEO of a real estate company. If this kind of thing spreads, the person who spreads the news will be afraid of other people who ate with him. If people are omitted, it will definitely become Li Yong and Tan Shahen having dinner together later. If there are good things, the word often will be added. He must avoid this suspicion. Zhang Chen picked up the phone and called Tan Shahen and Lao Tan. The two were a little strange when they received the call, but they agreed happily. Tan Shahen said, "I will go to the market right away to buy some food and I will come over to cook it." Zhang Chen said yes. He then called the canteen down below to prepare some dishes. At about 6 o'clock, Li Yong arrived. When he came in, he told them that he was leaving Hangzhou soon and was transferred back to Beijing. He would leave the day after tomorrow. He happened to be free today, so he came over to meet his friends and say goodbye. Only then did everyone know what they had for dinner today. Zhang Chen asked, "Where will you be transferred back to Beijing?" Li Yong said, "Go to a ministry and serve as deputy minister." "That's a promotion," Lao Tan said. Li Yong smiled and said, "I haven't been promoted, so it's a normal job, but I can finally go home and see my son." When Li Yong said this, Zhang Chen remembered that in the years since Li Yong came to Hangzhou, his wife and son had never been to Hangzhou, and he had never seen them until today. Zhang Chen said this to Li Yong, and Li Yong smiled and said, "It's simple. When you go to Beijing again, you can see them all when you go to your home for dinner. It's not very convenient for them to get here." Zhang Chen thought of the time he met Lu Chengcheng by chance at Pudong Airport, and understood a little bit what Li Yong meant when he said it was not very convenient. Everyone sat down and Li Yong asked, "Is there still no news about Ganzi and Meng Ping?" Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen both shook their heads, and Li Yong also sighed. Li Yong then asked Tan Shahen, "How is your company doing now?" Tan Shahen told him, and Li Yong said that the difficulties will pass and I believe you will get better. The key is to have confidence in yourself. Tan Shahen is right, I also believe it will get better. Li Yong then said to Zhang Chen, "Do I know that you are getting better now? You are working overtime non-stop every day in the factory and there are constant orders, right?" Zhang Chen asked curiously, "How did you know?" Li Yong smiled and said, "Do you think I am really deaf to everything outside the window, especially your Zhang Chen's company? I really know nothing about it." Zhang Chen also smiled and said, "Okay, I know you have many eyes and your people are everywhere. Tan Shahen is a sensible person. She knows that Li Yong called her here today to treat her as a friend and one of the people he wanted to say goodbye to. She is very grateful, but she also knows that if she continues to stay here, she may hinder these 4 people." Now that the purpose of saying goodbye has been achieved, Tan Shahen got up and said goodbye after eating together for a while, telling them, "I'll leave first, you drink slowly." After Tan Shahen left, Li Yong sighed, Zhang Chen, have you ever thought that when we were in Haikan, you, me, Ganzi, Mengping and Qiang, how many drinks we had together? At that time, I always felt that the future would be better. Chang, I didn't expect that in the days to come, everyone would gather less and stay apart more often, and Zanzi and Mengping would even disappear. When Li Yong said this, he couldn't go on. Zhang Chen picked up the wine glass and touched it with him. They had this meal of wine until about 10 o'clock in the evening. Xiao Wu sent Li Yong back. Zhang Chen and Lao Tan insisted on following the car. Lao Tan said, Li Yong, let me see you off. This is a farewell, but we don't know when we can meet again. At any time, Lao Tan and Xiao Wu, just like Zhang Chen, you can call me anytime you arrive in Beijing and I'll treat you to dinner, Li Yong said, and Lao Tan and Xiao Wu quickly agreed. Xiao Wu drove the car to the door of Li Yong's house, and everyone got out of the car. Zhang Chen, Lao Tan, and Xiao Wu hugged Li Yong goodbye here. 3 months later, after the 2 sessions, Zhang Chen saw the new list of state council members published in the newspaper. Li Yong was already the minister of a certain ministry. Zhang Chen quickly called Li Yong and congratulated him. At the same time, he felt really happy. Happy for him. In this list, Zhang Chen also saw Lu Qinchin's name. He also wanted to call him to congratulate him, but he held the phone in his hand, thought about it, and didn't call. He just silently blessed him in his heart. With a group of people like them here, instead of Su Lixing and others, Zhang Chen felt that he had confidence and hope. Wen Wen called Zhang Chen out of breath at Beijing airport and shouted while running. Mr. Zhang, oops, I ran so hard that my breasts sagged. I finally made it to the security check. Mr. Zhang, I will arrive in Hangzhou at 3:30. Please ask someone to pick me up at the airport. Zhang Chen laughed and said, I will pick you up myself. No, 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 just ask a little guy to pick me up. There's no need to send out a big shot like you, unless you miss me, Wen Wen said. Zhang Chen smiled and said, okay, I miss you and just want to see you as soon as possible. Is that okay? Okay, okay, Wen Wen giggled, then when I arrive, I will give you a sweet kiss. Wen Wen came to Hangzhou this time. In her own words, this was called exam proctoring. She told Zhang Chen, Mr. Zhang, you don't know how many people those bastards have promised. They promised you on the surface. In fact, I didn't take it to heart at all. I had to show up in Hangzhou and tell them, I'm watching you. Please be honest. Zhang Chen said, yes, I will feel relieved when you come. Tomorrow is the time for the Xiongnan Art Professional Examination, so Wen Wen will come from Beijing today. The people she wants to proctor are the examiners sent by the Beijing Film Academy to the Hangzhou Examination Center. Zhang Chen waited for Wen Wen at the exit, took the suitcase in her hand, and wanted to walk to the parking lot with her. Wen Wen shouted, etc., etc. Zhang Chen stopped. Wen Wen took out a handful of lipsticks from her bag, chose a bright red one, and applied it. Zhang Chen cursed, what's so beautiful about it? You can't put it on when you get in the car. Wen Wen giggled and ignored him. She took out a small mirror and looked at it. When she was satisfied, she put the lipstick and mirror in her bag. She walked over and suddenly put her hands around Zhang Chen's neck and put her hand on his cheek. After a kiss, Wen Wen said, as promised, you come to pick me up in person, and I'll give you a sweet kiss. Tell me, does it smell good? Everyone on the side looked at them. Zhang Chen was embarrassed and quickly said, Xiang Xiang. And a clear lip mark. Wen Wen said while walking. When Zhang Chen heard this, he quickly wiped it with his hand. Wen Wen grabbed his hand and said to him, you are not allowed to wipe off the fragrance. You don't have a girlfriend anyway, so what are you afraid of? Zhang Chen pushed the suitcase with his right hand, and his left hand was held by Wen Wen. He was helpless. He looked around and saw no one was there, so he let it go for the time being. When the two of them arrived at the car, Ween Wen said, "I'll drive." Zhang Chen gave her the car key and went to sit in the passenger seat and got in the car. Ween Wen told Zhang Chen that I would requisition this car today and introduce me to a place to have dinner. Is it okay for our newly opened Tuxianjiayuan hotel? It's the location of the original store, Zhang Chen asked. Ween Wen said yes, that's great, our own hotel, awesome. Zhang Chen called the front desk of the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel on Yan'an Road and booked a private room. He told the other party that in this private room, all consumption tonight would be free of charge and there would be no limit. Ween Wen was happy when she heard it. She shouted, "Great, I will win over those three big men today." Driving downstairs at the dynamic zone, Ween Wen and Zhang Chen said, "Get out of the car. It's too late. I have to go find them. By the way, send Nan Nan's admission ticket number to my mobile phone." Zhang Chen said yes. He opened the door and got out of the car. Ween Wen waved to him, shouted goodbye and left. Zhang Chen stood there, found Xiangnan's admission ticket number from his mobile phone, and sent it to Ween Wen. Zhang Chen walked towards the stairs and met a security guard. When he saw him, he smiled and said, "Hello, Mr. Zhang." Zhang Chen came back quickly, "Hello." Zhang Chen walked upstairs. A designer saw him, took one look at him, and fled back to the office with a smile. Zhang Chen glanced at her back and cursed in his heart, "Crazy." He walked into his office and sat down at his desk. After a while, Ji Yiling, Xiao Li, and Su Qiaxin came in together. They laughed when they looked at him. Zhang Chen cursed. "Strange, what day is it today that you all got crazy together?" The three of them laughed so hard that they couldn't stand upright. Ji Yiling pointed to her cheek and said to Zhang Chen, "Master." Zhang Chen suddenly realized that the lip mark left by Ween Wen on his cheek had not yet been wiped off. No wonder the security guard and the designer were so happy when they saw his smiling face. It must have been the designer who escaped back to the design center and told the matter. Ji Yiling took Xiaoli and Su Qiaxin and came over to see what was going on. Zhang Chen's face turned red and he quickly cursed, "This Ween Wen, I'm going to kill her." He looked at the three people who were laughing together and cursed, "You are still laughing, why don't you come and wipe it off for me?" "No, no need." Su Qiaxin waved her hands and shouted, "You are fine just like you are, boss. You have both masculine and feminine beauty." Xiaoli and Ji Yiling had just stood up straight, and they immediately bent over with laughter and stretched out their hands to hit Su Qiaxin. "Thank you Zhengji, Qian Dad, and I say XXXX for your monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1521. Tan Shahen got up very early. Xiang Nan was going to take the exam today. Tan Shahen felt that she was even more nervous than Xiang Nan. Lao Tan was watering the flowers with a watering can in the yard. Mrs. Tan was preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Xiang Nan got up and went to the bathroom. Tan Shahen saw it and shouted, "Nan Nan, mother told you, relax, don't be nervous, do you know?" Xiang Nan nodded casually and entered the bathroom. When she came out, Tan Shahen said again, "Nanan, mother told you to relax and don't be nervous, you know." Xiang Nan didn't even look at her. He nodded casually and wanted to go back to his room. Tan Shahen stopped her and said, "Nanan, don't be so absent-minded when mommy is talking to you." Xiang Nan laughed and imitated Tan Shahen's tone and said, "Nan Nan, mom is telling you to relax and don't be nervous. Do you understand?" After finishing speaking, Xiangnan asked Tan Shahen, "Mom, am I absent-minded? I can't even carry it without seeing it." Tan Shahen was stunned for a moment, then said to Nan, "From yesterday to now, you have said this 100 times, Mom, I think you are the one who is nervous, and you are the one who wants to relax, right? Tan Shahen laughed and said, okay, damn, I am really more nervous than when I am about to go on stage, but Nan Nan. Xiang Nan quickly interrupted her and said to her, Mom, I'm not nervous at all, and I'm very relaxed. If you don't think about it, I will be even less nervous. Tan Shahen looked at her and wanted to say something, but she couldn't. Xiangnan went back to her room with a smile. After breakfast, the family got in the car. Tan Shahen drove Xiangnan to the Provincial Art School, where the examination center for Beijing Film Academy this year was set up. When they arrived at the gate, Tan Shahen saw Zhang Chen and 4 old people had arrived. Tan Shahen quickly parked the car, got out of the car southward and said, Hoo-ho, all my relatives and friends are here. Don't be afraid, Nan Nan, you can definitely do it, Zhang Chen's mother said. Xiang Nan nodded. Xiang Nan was holding the violin case in one hand and the admission ticket in the other hand to enter the school. Tan Shahen said, Nan Nan. Xiang Nan immediately continued, Mom told you. Tan Shahen watched her shut up, and both of them laughed, and said to Nan, just stay here and wait for my good news. Okay, Tan Shahen nodded quickly. When Xiangnan entered the gate, Tan Shahen came to her senses. She said to Zhang Chen and the others. Hey, did you hear what Nan Nan said before, telling me to be good? How come I have to be good? Zhang Chen and the others all laughed, and Lao Tan said, just those 2 words of yours made my ears feel calloused. The examination center for professional courses is in a classroom at the Provincial Art School. The classroom is empty. There is a row of tables at the top. 3 examiners are sitting behind the tables. The classroom in front is empty except for a chair. No. The entire exam is divided into 3 rounds, actually 2 rounds. The first round is the candidate's personal proposition test. During the self-introduction stage, if the examiner thinks that the candidate's image language and other aspects do not meet the requirements, he will directly call him a card and he will be eliminated on the spot. If you are not eliminated on the spot, the examiner will give you a question and let you improvise on the spot. After the first round, it's the second round. It's an individual talent show. The first round and the second round are connected together. Some people are allowed to leave halfway through the first round or at the end of the round. This is after being eliminated. If the examiner asks you to show off your personal talents, it means that you did well in the first round and passed. After your personal talent show, if you are asked to wait in the classroom next door, congratulations, you are lucky to have entered the third round. If you are not asked to go to the next door, you can pack up and leave. In the final round, 4 people will be divided into groups and asked to perform a skit together. After the performance is over, the examiner will ask some questions, and then everyone will go home and wait for notification. If there are many people, those waiting next door will be notified to come back at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. In other words, the third round will be in the afternoon. This year, there are many people who signed up to take the Beijing Film Academy professional course examination, and there is a long queue, so the examiner calls the card at a very fast pace. Most of the people in front basically go in for a minute or 2, and then come out dejected, which makes people still waiting in line. The classmates suddenly became nervous and whispered that the examiners this year were very strict. There were people queuing up, some carrying guitars, guhans, and pipas, some carrying violin cases and erhu cases, some carrying saxophones and flutes, and some holding silk fans in preparation for the talent show. At that time, the fan dance was performed. It was Xiang Nan's turn. The 3 examiners all looked at the door of the classroom. This was the examinee who Wen Wen had greeted them when she invited them to dinner last night. They wanted to see what kind of person he was. If it was true, if it was shabby, they would ask her to leave as politely as possible, and if it was still okay, they would give her more opportunities to show herself. Of course, standards still need to be strictly controlled. Xiang Nan walked in, and the three people's eyes lit up almost at the same time. Those who learn acting are very particular about their appearance. You are the only one. When you come in and make your appearance, you must have enough aura. If you don't have enough aura, so what? Capture the audience's attention. The three people just in front were still whispering to each other that this year's candidates at the Hangzhou Test Center did not have the ideals of previous years. When they saw Xiang Nan, they unconsciously sat up straight. The examiner in the middle asked Xiang Nan to introduce himself. As soon as Xiang Nan spoke, they felt that he had a good image and a plastic voice. The most basic requirements for an actor were met. Next was a personal performance. The examiner in the middle asked, "Classmate, let me ask, have you ever been in love?" Xiang Nan said no. The examiner said that the next question may be a bit difficult for you. It requires you to perform a lovelorn performance. Do you think it is okay? Do I need to change the topic? Xiang Nan immediately remembered what Tan Shuhen had told her in daily life. Actors have no way of choosing roles. A good actor means that you can adapt to all roles. Even if you are asked to play a horse, you must play the horse well. No need to change, teacher, I will play the role of lovelorn, Xiang Nan said. Okay, let's start now, the examiner said. Xiang Nan turned the chair in one direction, stepped back a few steps, and then started running hastily. With a look of joy on her face, she pushed the door, entered, closed the door, leaned on the back of the door, and hurriedly he anxiously took out a letter from his pants pocket, opened it, and read it quickly. Of course, there was nothing in her hands at this time, but from her movements, the three examiners saw the door and the letter. Human body language can make things appear out of thin air, making people feel things that do not exist. As Xiang Nan read the letter, the smile disappeared from her face. Her hand holding the letter dropped. She walked a few steps forward with dull eyes, sat on a chair, and turned her back to the three examiners. Next, what the three examiners saw was Xiang Nan's back. She picked up the letter and tore it into pieces. The whole body shrank toward the middle, and then the back trembled slightly and the shoulders hunched upward. Everyone could tell that he was crying. Finally, Xiang Nan covered his face with his hands. The examiner sitting on the left leaned over and quietly said to the examiner in the middle, "Awesome." The examiner in the middle nodded. Being able to devise such a plot in such a short period of time shows that Xiang Nan reacted very quickly. What's amazing is that she was able to show her pain with her back to the examiner instead of crying in front of him. That's it, even leaving aside her acting skills, her courage are worthy of admiration. Indeed, she is amazing. Okay, classmate, please turn around, the examiner in the middle said. Xiang Nan turned around and the three examiners saw tears on her face. They looked at each other and laughed. The examiner in the middle said, "Classmate, let's do your talent show next." The examiner on the right saw the violin Xiang Nan brought and asked her, "Can you play the violin?" Xiang Nan nodded. She thought she would be asked to perform the violin next. She was about to walk towards her violin leaning against the door. Unexpectedly, the teacher then asked, "Classmate, do you have any other talents?" Xiang Nan nodded, "I can sing." "What drama?" "Wu opera." "What show?" "Wu opera, Wu from Wu Yuan," Xiang Nan said. "This is one of your local operas, right?" the examiner asked. Xiang Nan said yes. "Okay, then you can perform for us," the examiner said. Xiang Nan cleared his throat and sang Fan Liwa's aria in 3 invitations to Fan Liwa. After singing a few lines, the examiner in the middle waved his hand and stopped. "Can you sing?" the examiner in the middle asked. Xiang Nan nodded and the examiner said, "Try singing a song." Xiang Nan stood there and sang Velvet Flowers with great emotion. When he sang Flowers carry relatives to the mountains, standing tall to welcome the colorful clouds, The examiner in the middle waved his hand again, stopped to Xiang Nan and looked at him. "Classmate, have you ever thought about entering a music conservatory?" the examiner in the middle asked. Xiang Nan said no. "Why?" the examiner continued to ask. "I just like acting," Xiang Nan said, and the three examiners all laughed. The examiner on the right said with interest, "Classmate, do you have any other talents?" Xiang Nan thought for a while and said, "I can do somersaults." "Can you do somersaults?" the examiner was curious. He felt that the pretty girl in front of him had nothing to do with somersaults, so he blurted out, "Can you turn it over for us?" The examiner in the middle saw that there was no exercise mat here. He was about to stop him, but he didn't expect that Xiangnan had already started flipping over, and he flipped over a dozen times in a row. It was completely professional. The three examiners were dumbfounded. Couldn't help but applaud. Xiang Nan stood still, his breath calm, and the examiner on the right smiled and said, "You really have learned a lot." "How is it?" the examiner in the middle asked the two people beside him, and both of them nodded. The examiner in the middle smiled and said to Xiang Nan, "Classmate, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you can report to the classroom next door, okay?" Xiang Nan said yes, "Thank you, teacher." She bowed to the three of them. When Xiang Nan walked out, the queue outside became commotion. Some people said that it took a long time for her to come out. Someone else said that I heard the teachers applauding her. Someone couldn't help it anymore, so he grabbed Xiang Nan and asked, classmate, have you entered the next round?" Xiang Nan was confused. She said, "I don't know either, so just ask me to come back in the afternoon." "Thank you for the reward of 2 fish and 2 fish at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for the soft and melodious 123, the distance is neither far nor near, the purple one, Qian Dad, Huandian Electrical and Electronics, Ba Liang, Book Friends 201701130912185553, Lao Shenzi Sang, Humorous Tribe, Crazy Spear, Frivolous, Book Friends 2019051421534839 2020091116010975 monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health.